Hello students, Economics Chapter 2, People as Resource. In this video, we will move further. This is video number 4 in continuation with video number 1, 2 and 3. In those videos, we talked about the human as a capital and human as a resource. Now, we take our new topic, the quality of population.
Quality of population. The quality of population depends upon the literacy rate, health of a person indicated by life expectancy and the skill formation acquired by the population of the country. The quality of the population ultimately decides the growth rate of the country. Literate and healthy population are an asset. Most important thing, the population is asset when they are literate, they are educated and they are healthy. If they are healthy, they are useful for long time. If they are literate, they are skilled. We already read in our previous video, we understood the land, importance of land as an asset, labor as an asset, working people are the laborers, and physical capitals. Physical capitals also covers with the working capital, and the fixed assets are there. Human capital and human resource. So human being become the resource only when they are educated, skilled and working people, and moreover they should be healthy. Physically they should be healthy, so they become asset for our country at large. Our growth of country is also depends on the human being as a main resource of our country. So the growth depends on literate and healthy population, and this is our main asset for the progress of our country. Now we move on our next paragraph, education. Education is the thing which is necessary for the development of human capital, human as a resource. So now we start reading of our next paragraph. Sakal's education in the initial years of his life bore him the fruits in the later years in terms of a good job and salary. Now we understood that Sakal was an educated boy and he got education and he got degree in computer science, so he got job. We saw education was an important input for the growth of Sakal. We understood Sakal life was changed because he got good education in his early days. He went to school where he was educated and later he got degree in computer science, so he got good job. It opened new horizon for him, provided new aspiration and developed values of life. Not only for Sakal, education contributes towards the growth of society also, but that contribution is not for his individual, but he was also asset for the whole society, because he starts computer center which is helpful for the other people in the village. So we understand that how the education makes the difference in his life as well as in his society, in his village. It enhances the national income, cultural richness and increases the efficiency of governance. So these all the factors also includes with his growth. His personal growth also helps in the national income. There is a provision made for providing universal access, retention and quality in elementary education with a special emphasis on girls. So because it is important factor of human being, so there is a special attention is given to the girls' education. There is also an establishment of pace setting of schools like Navodaya Vidyalayas in each district. Vocational streams have been developed to equip large number of high school students with occupations related to knowledge and skills. The plan outlay on education has increased from rupees 151 crore in the first plan to rupees 3,766.90 crore in 11th plan. So we can see there is a huge increase in the amount of money for the development and for the school in our country. The expenditure on education as a percentage of GDP, gross development progress, rose from 0.64% in 1951-52 to 3% in 2015-16 and has remained stagnant around 3% from past few years. And that percentage increase 3% is a stagnant growth regularly from last few years. The budgetary estimate, as stated in the budget, a human being is a positive asset and a precious national resource which needs to be cherished, nurtured and developed with tenderness and care. So it is at last believed that the main asset is human being and it should be nurtured properly, groomed properly and developed for the future investment. Each individual's growth presents a different range of problems and requirements. So each individual is unique and there is a proper treatment or proper nurturing is required. The catalytic action of education in this complex and dynamic growth progress needs to be planned meticulously and executed with a great sensitivity. There should be a proper training of each individual since childhood. Now we can see in this graph there is a male, female and person graph of education since 1951. In 1951 there is a regular progress in the chart. In 2001 census we can see the male education rate as well as female and as a person. Now on this basis of this graph, that is called literary rate in India since 1951-61, it is census data in the graph. This we read about the National Education Policy 1986. There is a new national policy after this 1986, then in 2005, and now recently we have National Education Policy 2020, which is now in current. On this basis of this graph, we discuss and try to answer this question. Has the literacy rate of the population increased since 1951? Yes, it is increasing. It is growing high. In which year India has the highest literacy rate? This one is the highest, 2011. Why literacy rate is high among the male of India? Because they are getting more exposure. That's the main reason for their high literacy rate. Why are women less educated than men? They are not going out, and secondly they are engaged in the home and domestic work. How would you calculate literacy rate in India? Per thousand we can calculate it. What is your projection about India's literacy rate in 2020? We hope that this literacy rate will also increase in coming years. Now we see in the next page, activity is there. Count the number of boys and girls studying in your school or in your neighboring co-ed education. Ask the school administrator to provide you with the data of boys and girls studying in this school. Study the difference, if any, and explain for reasons in the classroom. So these are the activities which we have to perform when we come in normal routine school. Now we can see in the table 2.1 the number of institutions of higher education and enrollment and faculties are there. So we can see from 50 1951, the number of colleges in our country is 750, number of universities were 30 students, and the number of teachers in the year 50-51. There is a gradual increase in the number of the colleges, universities. Now we have 925. This is 911 is given in the data, but now there is a 925 universities in our country. So is the number of colleges also increases with due time, and the number of students and teaching staff is also increasing. So this is a report of UGC annual report of 2010, 11, 12, 13 and 13, 14, 15, 16. So education statistics, we can see there is a regular growth in number of persons as a teacher, as a student. This data is given by the Human Resource Development Department. Now we read the text given in this page. This is page number 22. Documents of Union State governments, Reserve Bank of India, the expenditure on education as a percentage of GDP has declined to 2.7% in 2017-18. The literacy rate have increased from 18% in 1951 to 74% in 2010-11. So we can see there is a huge increase in number of literacy rate from these decades. Literacy is not only a right, it is not the basic right of human being, but it is also needed if the citizens are to perform their duties and enjoy their rights properly. So if they are educated, they can understand the things in better way and they can do the work for the betterment of our country. However, a vast difference is noticed across different sections of population. But in spite of that, there is a difference in the people of our country. Literacy among males is nearly 16.6 higher than females, and it is about 16.1% higher in urban areas as compared to the rural areas. So there is a difference between the gender, between male and female education rates in urban areas as compared to the rural areas. In 2011, literacy rate varied from 94% in Kerala to 62% in Bihar. So we can see the difference within the province of India, different states of India. 94% there is a literacy rate in Kerala and 62% literacy rate in Bihar in 2001 census. The primary school system has expanded to over 8.41 lakh in 2000. Unfortunately, this huge expansion of schools has been diluted by the poor quality of schooling and high dropouts rate. So number of schools increased, but the schooling quality is poor and the dropout rate also increases. High dropout rates. This is called the boys and girls which leave the school in between, so they call dropouts. Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan is a significant step towards providing elementary education to all children in the age group of 6 to 14 years by 2010. We can see the government starts a new program that is called Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, in which the age group of between 6 to 12, the elementary education, basic education is compulsory. This education is free and without any charge. It is a time-bound initiative of the central government in partnership with the states, the local government and the community for achieving the goals of universalization of elementary education. So the central government starts a big initiative in which they want the education is spread among all children, among all states, with the help of local bodies in the village level, in the community level. This education must be compulsory. The the age group between 6 to 14. That is called Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. That is a big initiative of central government. Along with it, bridge courses and back to school campaign. There are the two programs also starts. The bridge courses, the small courses are there, and back to schools. Those students who drop in between, they come back again in the school. That is called back to school campaigns have been initiated to increase the enrollment in elementary education. Midday meal scheme has been implemented to encourage attendance and retention of children and improve their nutrition status. So government also starts other programs along with their education. The most important program, the government initiative, is midday meal, where the children, poor children, who are encouraged to attend the school, and so that the two things will go on together. The first thing is the education, so that they should be a good citizen of future country. These policies could add to the literate population of country. So these things are going together, so the country will get a good human resource in coming days in future. The 12th plan endeavored to raise the country's gross enrollment ratio (GER) in higher education in the age group of 18 to 23 years to 25.2% by 2017-18, and to reach the target of 30% by 2021, which would be broadly in the line with world average. So this is the average of world. India also wants that their higher education, the percentage of the students will increase, which would be broadly in line of the world average. That is called world average is 30. So India is also want to achieve this target. The strategy focuses on increasing access, quality, adoption of a state-specific curriculum, modification, vocationalization, and networking of the use of information technology. So these are the factors where the state government or the central government is working for the modification of the education, new changes in the curriculum, vocationalization of the education, and networking on the use of information technology. So it is the integrated part or inborn part of the basic education and the higher education. Information technology is also the part of education, like computer science. The plan also focuses on the distance education, correspondence course, that is called distance education, convergence of formal and non-formal. There is a convergence of the formal education and non-formal education. Distance and IT education institution also increases over the days, and over the past 50 years there has been a significant growth in the number of university and institutions of higher learning in specialized areas. So specialized areas like different streams of subjects also introduced. So the colleges and universities are giving education in the specific fields. Let us read the table to see the increase in the number of colleges, universities, enrollment of students, and requirement of teachers from 1951 to 2015-16. This table which we have read in the starting. So this is a table. We can see the growth in the number of colleges and universities, students and teachers are there, faculty members from independence almost 1950 to 2018-19. Now that is the activity. Discuss this table in the classroom and answer the following questions like: is the increase in the number of colleges adequate to admit the increasing number of students? The number is increasing, but it is not enough. We need more colleges and universities in coming days. Do you think we should have more number of universities? Now universities are there, but the faculty members are not enough, so we have to increase and we have to work on the faculty members and good quality education in the higher educations centers. What is the increase noticed among the teachers in the year 1998-99? What is your idea about future colleges and universities? So these are the questions which we have to discuss based on our text and current scenario. In next video we will talk about the health, the another important topic of human resource. In this we have covered the education of our country and their gradual growth from independence till 2020. Thank you.